Hi, I'm Scott Carroll.
I'm Patty Carroll.
In episode 1, we shared a little bit about why we started Life Between Scans. Then in the second episode, we shared our cancer story. We shared what happened when we heard you have cancer. One of the things that we were looking for when we heard you have cancer is some type of a roadmap. What were we supposed to do next?
The hardest part for me is, as many years as cancer has been around, I just assumed that there would be a plan, a roadmap. Just follow step by step and you'll get through it. And that's not the case.
Wanting to know the roadmap, wanting to know the path, completely understandable. We wanted to make sure that we were doing the right things. We wanted someone to tell us what right things to do.
And we were looking for that right path. I just really felt that we could get through it easily, and it didn't seem to be that way.
So what we did is we dug into research. We dug down into the internet. We started asking our doctors. We started asking anybody that we knew that had any information or that we thought might have some information about cancer and the right decisions to make, the right things to do.
And then we realized that from the information we received, every journey is different. And that's part of the reason that there's not a real easy roadmap.
It's not a one-size-fits-all.
No, it's not.
So one example of how cancer can lead to different paths was when I was originally diagnosed with bladder cancer. Normally, when a person has bladder cancer, and at the time that I was diagnosed, it was believed that my tumors were contained within my bladder. And in that case, a person would not have their bladder removed. A person would not have to go through the surgery that I went through. But in my case, we found out when the doctor went in and did the scope that I had a number of different tumors in my bladder, that the largest of those tumors was a 9-centimeter tumor, which that meant nothing to me until I was told that a 3-centimeter tumor is what most research standards are set by, and that a 9-centimeter tumor was incredibly large. Because of that, even though I was thought to be stage 1, my urologist, my doctor, my surgeon, suggested that I have my bladder removed because with a 9-centimeter tumor, the chance of recurrence was very, very high. And so we chose to be aggressive, and we chose to actually go ahead and have that done because we didn't want the cancer to come back.
And Scott was going to get a second opinion, but he really didn't need to. His physician reached out to a colleague and got a second opinion, and they discussed that. And so it was decided that this was the best course of action for Scott.
So with that colleague's second opinion, we then had to make a choice of what kind of diversionary system am I going to use. If they removed my bladder, something needed to be able to handle the urine. And so I was told, I shared in my cancer story, that I was able to take a look at the urostomy bag, I was able to take a look at neobladder, and ultimately we decided on neobladder. Now again, this is just an indication of how people have different paths, because most people actually go with the urostomy bag. And part of the reason they go with the urostomy bag is because most people who are diagnosed with bladder cancer are older, often in their 60s or more, often in their 70s. I was 54. That was different. We decided to make a different choice.
Based on the lifestyle that we have.
And lifestyle is a big part of why you make the choices you make. Your values, the things that are important to you, those are also part of your questions.
Well, you were working full time, so there was that to take into consideration. You like to swim, and you were sure how you would do that with a bag.
Right.
You like to vacation, which includes being in an airplane. Well, how do you do that with a bag? The more you thought about it for you, and after doing much research, you decided that that was the right course of action.
So even after we decided what direction we were going to do, or where we were going to go with our cancer journey, cancer is a funny thing.
Cancer
and
is
not funny as
not
in
funny,
humorous,
ha-ha.
but funny as in odd, because just when you think you are on the right path, that you've found the right path, cancer can completely change the map.
Yes, it can. It can. It's just needing to learn to be prepared.
So, I mean, things can change. Like you get a new diagnosis. Maybe you get a bad scan, something that, shows up that you weren't expecting. You have a recurrence. I mean, anything can happen. Anything can change. And when that happens, suddenly you're left needing to make new decisions, having to decide on a new path, a different path, or altering the path. So what are some of the things that you think helped us? What are some of the things that we did that you think helped us figure out the path that was right for us?
I think a lot of talking, a lot of discussion, bringing up all different types of things that I was curious about and understanding where he was coming from. And really, my philosophy was, this is your body, and whatever you want to do, I'm here for you. On the other hand, he was going, yes, but you're my wife. And so we had a lot of discussion. But I think really asking lots of questions, lots and lots and lots of questions, being prepared to ask a lot of questions was really vital to what we were looking at.
Asking questions not only of each other,
but of the doctors, of anybody that we were working with, any of our team, and being prepared with questions. So that was, I think, really the smartest thing we did. For example, during the week, if there was something that came up either in his mind or my mind, he would go ahead and log it into his phone so we could ask those questions when we went to the doctor. I don't know about many of you, but when you go to the doctor, you just sit there and go, and you can't remember these things. So writing them down is just so important.
Absolutely. And one of the things that I've found that it's important when you're preparing for your appointments, it's not just the questions, but also making sure that you keep a list of things you've noticed, the symptoms you've had.
Absolutely.
Or the changes that you've noticed, so you can share those with the doctors. Sometimes they have absolutely nothing to do with cancer. Sometimes it's, you had a bad meal at a restaurant that's causing things.
Yeah.
But regardless, it's important to share with the doctor exactly what you're experiencing, exactly what you're noticing, so they can figure out if it's something that is related to the cancer, or if it's something that they and we need to be concerned about.
Exactly.
Another thing is making sure you either you take notes, or one of the things that we found was more important is we felt it was important for the patient to stay focused on what the doctor was saying.
Mm-hmm.
And so
someone else needs to take notes. What was the statistics on how much people remember when they go to the doctor?
So that was interesting. That was actually something just in a recent visit that I made to my oncologist's office. And he had been part of a research study that showed that people remember half of what's actually said in the doctor's office. Unfortunately, half of what they remember is wrong.
That's just so mind-boggling. But we take notes, and we always have taken notes, so that we take notes of what's going on. We have questions prepared before we even go there. We're not doing them that morning or anything. We just make sure that a lot of time that we have with the doctor is our time, and we're getting everything that we need.
So you can have a really productive session.
Absolutely.
And something that's helpful to the doctor, but really that's helpful to you.
Exactly.
We're trying to share our path. We're trying to share our experience, not because we're experts, and we're certainly not doctors or any other kind of medical professionals. We're just people who have gone on a complex cancer journey and want to share our experience so that it helps other people make good decisions for their situation.
We're actually continuing on that cancer journey today. But you don't have to walk someone else's path, and you don't have to walk our path. We are here to share the path that we walked in hopes of helping you find your own path.